A couple weeks ago, I asked for your questions on Facebook, and I'm breaking down my answering of them into several videos so that I can get more detailed with my answers. In my last video, I answered a few questions about camera bodies. Today, I'll answer more questions, this time 2 questions about the business of photography, and then I'll answer a bonus question that is completely the opposite. It's about art and me. The first question today is from Danny. What is the best way to start the journey towards a career in photography? Be it a sports photographer or a product photographer, basically, how do I get the door openings? Thanks. Well, there are many different career paths within photography. And with new media taking over old media, those career paths are changing by the week. The 2 genres that you mentioned are both where a company is typically going to be hiring you rather than an individual. But companies like Sports Illustrated are going away from having staff photographers, and instead they're having freelancers and contractors do the work, which means that it can potentially be an opportunity for you to get in the door and make that relationship. So figure out who you want to do work for and look at the stuff that they have already, and then consider how you can do that, but also how you can set yourself apart from it, because the company already has what you see on their site or in their magazine. What can you do better or more interesting? And if that sounds like a bit too much to go contacting, Sports Illustrated today or the other big names, just back up a bit. Start small, look locally, and try to get work that way and build up your portfolio and your relationships. You will have to do, everything, be the photographer, the sales, marketing, and PR for yourself all rolled into one. And the strength of your portfolio is just the beginning. Something else to consider. Build up your social media following. Then, when you do make those contacts with the companies that you do really want to work for, you can show them that you have a following that they can leverage. Because there's a lot of talent out there. Companies these days are looking for what else you can offer them. Show them that you can bring with you, your talent for the job, but also an army of followers as well. And now for a question from Anthony. My wife and I have a small portrait photography business together, and we want to grow bigger when I retire from the Army. I also like to shoot sports and do so often. I want to include the sports in our business plan. 2 questions. 1, how would you suggest successfully accomplishing this without taking away from our main clientele? 2, if you were in our situation from a business aspect, how would you set up the business, i.e. corporation, LLC, LLP? Okay, I've talked about creating your photography niche and marketing to it, and I do think that's important. However, that doesn't mean that you can't have more than one niche. In fact, diversifying your business is great and really smart. Just keep the 2 separate when you're talking to clients. Have different portfolios. Maybe you have a portfolio site where people can find you guys as like a husband and wife team, but then play up the differences and have 2 different sections to the site. Like maybe your wife specializes in portraits and you specialize in sports, but you work together and that's your thing. That's your niche. Then, it's just a matter of time management, how much time you want to devote to each part of your business. As for your second question about setting up the business for tax purposes, I suggest talking to an accountant or an attorney. They can definitely help you figure out the best structure for you guys. Now for the last question from Tori, going in a completely different direction. He says, let's go to the art museum. If you could live in any picture art pieces for a day, which painting would you choose and why? What an interesting question. I'm mentally walking myself around the local art museum, the Phoenix Art Museum. And one of my very favorite paintings is there, Police Verso, but I don't think I'd really want to be in there with the gladiator, so I'm thinking of something a little less dangerous. I think my obvious choice would be an Impressionist work. There is a Monet that is just all flowers and sunshine, but I feel like I might get a little bored spending all day in there, so I think I'm headed to the Asian Gallery. There are scrolls there that are these beautiful outdoor scenes that are a little bit mysterious. And I feel like I could get lost in any one of those peaceful scenes exploring really what's in that mist. That's it for today. Thank you to Danny, Anthony, and Tori for your questions. And for everyone else who asked questions, I will be getting to them. Keep an eye on my Facebook page for when the videos go live.